Transitions of PA is a crisis center whose mission is to provide advocacy, empowerment, and education to victims, survivors, families, and communities to end patterns of violence and abuse. We have been proudly serving Union, Snyder, and Northumberland counties for the last 45 years. This is a glimpse of the services we offer and the difference we are making in the lives of others.
Often when someone calls our hotline, they're having the worst day of their life. Having someone on the other end of the phone who's calm and supportive and who says, "I believe you, and I am so sorry that this has happened to you," can make all the difference in the world to someone who's in crisis. It's often the first time a person's been told that they don't deserve the abuse that they're experiencing, and that can be truly life-changing for someone. Our hotline staff are always there with the survivor to take those first few steps towards a life free from abuse. And if I had anything that I wanted people to know about transitions, it would be that we're always here to help someone in their time of crisis.
It always gives us satisfaction to bring relief and a peaceful, healing atmosphere to families who are fleeing violence. But it can be particularly poignant when a Safe House guest is marking an important life milestone or holiday while staying with us. When a parent is using all of their resources to start a new life, birthdays and holidays can be a crushing reminder of the disruptive and traumatic effects of escaping an abusive relationship, because birthdays and holidays just can't be prioritized. So when a child is having a birthday or hoping for an Easter basket, our Safe House counselors make sure that they're able to have that experience, and we ensure that the special occasion can be remembered as one of the first of many happy and peaceful memories as they start fresh in the hope of a life that can be lived with the assurance of safety and predictability. It's so gratifying to be able to see a mother who has sacrificed everything to try to achieve safety for herself and for her kids, to be able to relax and enjoy watching her kids open a gift and eat dinner together as a family without worrying about impending violence later that evening or whether the children will witness violent threats being made. We get to see the page turn and that wonderful new chapter begin.
Counseling and therapy is one of the areas in which Transitions provides services to all survivors, adults and children. This service is vital to our clients to help heal the invisible trauma wounds that remain once the physical injuries heal, after the dust may settle on legal cases, and to assist in feeling safe again. Healing from the emotional wounds can take a very long time and be very frustrating for clients who frequently state they just want to be or feel like themselves again. Through the counseling and therapy services that we provide to survivors, they often voice relief in knowing and understanding how trauma impacts the brain and body and that healing takes time.
I'm a legal advocate with Transitions of PA, and my job primarily consists of advocating for victims and survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and other serious crimes as they navigate their way through the legal system and lead the lives that they want to live. So my job consists of some goal planning, some safety planning, and even court accompaniment. I often reflect back on a story that I think about often when I'm thinking about why I'm doing the job that I'm doing, and it really helps me stay grounded and it helps me really realize the work that I'm doing on the scale that I'm doing it in. Specifically, I was assisting a client who was a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. And the day before their hearing, they told me that there was no way they were going to be able to show up to court. The thought of testifying against their abuser while their abuser is in the courtroom was something that they could not fathom. After some goal planning and some safety planning with this individual, not only did this individual show up to court, she testified against her abuser and got a PFA granted, a protection from abuse granted, on her behalf against her abuser. While we're leaving court and as we're kind of going to her car, she turns to me and says, "If it wasn't for you being here today, I'm not sure if I would have showed up. More so, I don't even know if I would have gotten this protection from abuse order." That really made me understand why I'm doing the work that I'm doing, and more so how we're able to connect with other individuals who may not feel like they have the support around them. I think the most important thing that we are doing as an organization is being supportive and being there for individuals who feel as though they have nowhere else to turn.
When fleeing from an abusive relationship, not only does one find it challenging emotionally and financially, but also faces the fear of, where do I go from here? We work diligently with these survivors to help subside these fears and move forward in their lives for a successful and safe future for not only themselves, but their children as well. Our advocates assist in finding, obtaining, and maintaining housing, along with household goods to start this new path, as unfortunately most are forced to flee with nothing in hand. We provide them with life skills, budgeting, continued support, and resources to achieve their goals and to work towards self-sufficiency. It is absolutely breathtaking to watch these clients walk into these houses and go room from room envisioning the new home they are going to be able to create and provide for themselves and their children. The happy tears and joy of picking up their keys and walking into their new forever home for the very first time, or watching the excitement in their children's eyes in being able to see their new rooms, the overall relief knowing that they have succeeded, they are safe, and their new journey in life has just begun.
We had one client in particular, and I will remember her forever. We were at the custody hearing. She had suffered some brutal physical assaults at the hands of the father of her children. In addition to the physical assaults, she also was subject to manipulation, mental abuse, threats of taking the children, everything imaginable. So the day came for the custody hearing, and I was sitting back in the gallery and watching the hearing, and sitting there and watching an attorney that is skilled and understands domestic violence and understands that they are the voice for someone that hasn't had a voice in so long during such an important moment, in front of all of these people, primarily the court system. So they were actually sharing the secret. They were exposing the secret of domestic violence, and they were exposing that this mother was a good mother, and they were exposing the manipulation, and at the same time teaching the court about domestic violence. And I looked at the client and I saw her crying. I reached over, handed her a tissue, and I asked her, what's going on? Do you want to talk about it? And she said, this is the first time that I've had somebody stand up for me. Everything's been behind closed doors, and here we are, and I have somebody that's advocating for me to the court system. And I think at that moment she realized that he wasn't going to win. She was going to get away, and she was going to get away safe, and she had a whole team supporting her to do it.
The Farrell Family Justice Center has been open for just over 6 months now. We provide monitor custody exchanges and supervised visitations. Exchanges and visitations are times when parent and child victims of family violence can feel extremely vulnerable and unsafe. At the Farrell Family Justice Center, our goal is to provide a secure environment that helps foster safe and healthy interactions between children and their parents. The parents never have any contact, and our staff do our best to not only make sure everyone is safe, but they're comfortable. We try to make the center homey and cozy. Over the past months, our staff has seen the positive changes our center can bring for everyone involved. The changes in one family always pop to mind. When I met Mom, you could see the fear and anxiety that she had at leaving her toddler to spend time with her abuser. After just a few visits, when she would leave, she was smiling and relaxed, knowing her child was safe. Now she can enjoy a small break to go to the grocery store toddler-free. She tells me how she's able to relax and enjoy her alone time while her child visits with his father now. On the other end, I've watched this visiting parent go from unsure how to even play with a toddler to every week engaging more and more, making the relationship with his young son strong and healthy. To me, that's what the FJC really is for. We're a place where families can feel safe and build relationships.
To do education and outreach is really the first line of defense against domestic violence and sexual assault, because ultimately what we're trying to do is to spread the message of prevention, really stopping this epidemic in its tracks before it can even take root in the next generation. Some may say it's kind of playing the long game, but ultimately what we're trying to do is reach kids as young as 4 years old, and explain to them that love should never hurt, and that they deserve respect from everyone around them, adults, strangers, friends, and maybe when they're older, even romantic partners. Some of the most powerful experiences for me have been working with youth. I've had teenagers as young as 13 come up to me and say that from things that I said, that they were brave enough to disclose abuse happening in their own life. I've held the hands of teenagers who came forward and had to get rape exams, SANE exams. I've also, stood next to teenagers that I've worked with in courts of law, advocating for themselves against individuals that have hurt them greatly. And they were able to use their own voice and feel empowered with the message that we share. And that's what it means to do education and prevention and outreach and all of those wonderful things. Because what we're trying to say is that you don't have to stand alone, that you are not alone, and that you are powerful enough to deserve respect.
What does outreach mean to me? It means being able to connect with others in our community, organizations, schools, businesses, professionals, and individuals. One of my favorite parts of the Transitions Outreach effort is that I am able to connect with people on a personal level during tabling events. I often have people approach me and share how Transitions, or an organization like Transitions, has helped either themselves or someone they know. I was at an event in our area and was approached by a man who handed me a $10 bill. He said that he knew it wasn't much, but he wanted to show his appreciation for the work we do. He went on to share how an organization like Transitions had helped his wife, who prior to meeting him had been involved in an abusive relationship.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our stories. We hope you will join Transitions of PA as we raise the region and continue to make a positive difference within our communities.